In storytelling, they always say, make me care. But how do you make them care? This is such an important question that Mel, one of our WFA Academy members, submitted to one of the most special guests we've ever had on the channel. I'm talking about the legendary John Musker, writer and director behind The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Treasure Planet, The Princess and the Frog, Moana, and many more. He will teach you the 7 ingredients that will make your audience care about your characters.
One of them was that you want characters that are compelling, that basically their issues are strong enough that you really invest yourself emotionally in their journey. And how you do that falls back to making them relatable.
Sometimes I feel like I really don't belong here.
You want them to be charismatic, even your bad guys, even your villains, and that you want your characters to be somebody who you want them to be on screen. You want to come back to those characters to see what their issues are. There's a lot of parts to that. I think obviously, the way they look, the way they speak, their point of view on the world, all those things I think are meant to intrigue and engage us, even if we don't agree with some of those things.
Getting in too deep here, Morphe.
My mentors at Disney, the 9 old men and those guys, they always talked about appeal. And appeal is a funny word because it could mean to some people, well, appeal means cuteness. There should be a cuteness factor. But it really goes way beyond that. I think appeal is much more slippery and hard to define. But if your characters don't have some level of appeal, I think it will be hard for your audience to engage with them. That appeal can come from all sorts of different things. I think villains can have appeal too, and they should have some kind of appeal. You shouldn't just be like, I don't want them off the screen and I don't care about them. You've got to even sort of get us intrigued by their motives, by their actions.
There he is, my diamond in the rough.
An audience, I think, doesn't want to be too far ahead of you. If they're too far ahead of you, that's a problem. So you want to surprise the audience, and yet you can go so far in that direction that then the audience distances itself from the story because they don't understand, why did this person do that? That doesn't seem convincing to me. I don't understand why they took that action. And then you can lose them. I always talked with Ron that our movies, and in effect the stories, are a little bit like a train. And you've got to get the audience on the train with you. And if you don't get them on the train, there's a certain point, and they don't have to be on the train instantly, but they got to be on the train pretty early. And if you don't get them on that train, you'll never get them on the train. And the movie you'll be in the middle of the movie, and they have not engaged. They have not committed themselves to the movie. So it's really crucial in the opening quarter of the movie to lay out something that compels them to want to see more and invest themselves in that story. And there's no formula, I would say, for how you do that, but there's many factors that you can tap into. Confronting the character, what is it that they don't have, that they need? Do they know they need something? What they want and what they need isn't always the same thing, and trying to find out what the difference between those two things are and how you play one off the other.
You dig a little deeper, you find everything you need.
If you go all the way to the ending of the story, you want an ending that isn't foreseen and yet feels right. That's the challenge of all endings. Michael Arndt has this big thing about Star Wars, of the ending works so well because there's personal stakes, there's world stakes, there's
philosophical.
The best stories can deliver on all those things in the climax. And I think his point is well taken, and that's true, that if you can find a story that manages to do all those things at the end, it leaves the audience with such a feeling of satisfaction and of completion that they can take something away, and then exhilaration in a way that the story has a lift to it at the end and it's not a letdown.
When creating your characters, you want them to be compelling, charismatic, appealing, surprising, and convincing. They should face a confronting situation and have an ending that completes their story.
Oh, how very thrilling.
Would you also like to get your questions answered by animation pros like John Musker? One of the many benefits of being a WFA Academy member is that you always get priority for the Q&A section of our interviews.
I'm listening.
If you sometimes feel isolated in your animation journey and need guidance on the next steps to get your projects off the ground, join our community at writeforanimation.com/academy. The link is down below. As John said, you want your characters to be compelling, and you can achieve this by making the audience empathize with them. Watch this video for 10 tips on how to create empathy for your characters. I'm screenwriter Pietro Schito, and this is WFA Animation. We'll see you there.